A New York man tested positive for the novel coronavirus, bringing the total confirmed cases in the state to 2, officials said on Tuesday, as the number of infections in the United States topped 100 and the central bank acted to protect the economy. The 50-year-old man who lives in a New York suburb and works in Manhattan had an underlying respiratory illness and is hospitalized, Governor Andrew Cuomo said at a news conference. He said the patient had not traveled to countries hardest hit in the worldwide coronavirus outbreak but that he had visited Miami recently. As of Monday evening, 6 people in the United States had died of the illness associated with the virus, all of them in Washington state, health officials said. More than 100 people nationwide have tested positive for the virus, including the 2 in New York, according to health officials. The suburban Westchester County man was in serious condition, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said in a statement, adding that the confirmation was made by the city's public health laboratory on its first day of testing. With the results confirmed within a number of hours, we were immediately able to take next steps to stop the spread of this virus, de Blasio said. We have said from the beginning that it is likely we will see more positive cases of the coronavirus. Previously, all testing was conducted by the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), a process that created in a delay of several days before the result was known. Public health officials across the country are focused on prevention efforts and federal regulators approved an emergency order to make more face masks available to health workers. Officials said healthy people do not need masks and that frequent hand washing is a better preventative measure, saving the masks for health care workers and sick patients. The U.S. House of Representatives is aiming for Wednesday to debate a multi-billion-dollar bill providing emergency funds. U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday said his administration was working with Congress to pass an emergency spending measure to fight the virus, adding that he expects lawmakers to authorize about $8.5 billion. Following a sell-off in markets last week on fears of the impact of the virus on the global economy, major indexes have recovered somewhat this week. Nevertheless, on Tuesday the U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates in an emergency move designed to shield the world's largest economy from major disruptions. The Fed said it was cutting rates by a half percentage point to a target range of 1.00% to 1.25%. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security (DHS) closed an office in Washington state for 14 days on Tuesday after an employee visited a family member at a nursing home in the Seattle suburb where 4 residents have died. The employee had visited before the presence of coronavirus was known there, DHS Secretary Chad Wolf said during a congressional hearing. The Public Transportation Agency in New York, the most densely populated major U.S. city with more than 8 million people, said on Twitter it was deploying enhanced sanitizing procedures for stations, train cars, buses and certain vehicles. The New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority (MTA) said it would disinfect frequently used surfaces from subway ticket machines to turnstiles daily, and its full fleet every 72 hours. There are more than 90,000 cases of the new coronavirus globally, with more than 80,000 of them in China. China's death toll is 2,943, with more than 75 deaths elsewhere as 77 other countries and territories have reported cases of the respiratory disease.